pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, we come to you right now, Lord, praising your name. We thank you for all the blessings of life. Thank you for creating us, creating the world, and all the things that you have created. And Lord, be with us now as we make decisions on these things that are important to the county taxpayers, and bless our time. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you, Eric.
Eric,
Eric.
when you get done, Nick needs that. When you get done with that, Nick needs that paper.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is a regularly scheduled second meeting for the month of July to cover some things we couldn't fit in the last one. One of which was a request from Circuit Court, which Judge Mike was supposed to be here. Let's see if he's on his way.
We need to amend the agenda, go ahead on the further.
I'll ask him real quick. Yeah, if we could, I'd just entertain a motion to amend the agenda, and we'll hold off on Judge Mouth's request until we see if he can be.
So moved.
I can tell you what it's for. It is for mental health evaluations.
Okay.
And it is through, I think it's through Judge Mount, but also Judge Frazier, so.
Okay. Was it, do you know if it was something that was budgeted for previously and just overwent, or?
I don't know.
Okay. Do you guys want to move it and see if he can show up, give him a few minutes?
We're gonna be here for a little bit.
A little explanation on it.
Okay, so Collins has made a motion to amend the agenda to move Circuit Court request Judge Mount, down lower in the agenda until he can have a chance to arrive.
I second.
John Miller with a second. Any questions, comments? All in favor of amending? 6-0. Table or move that one, we won't table it, we'll just hold. Next up would be EMS with the request for an additional appropriation. And I know we usually have a public hearing, didn't have time for that, so is there any public comment on an additional appropriation for EMS? No. Nick, you got a minute to talk about it? Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
So I think we're here today while you're getting some things ready, because you had a vehicle that was involved in a collision that we have to replace, and we've got some funds to replace it, but we found out we don't have vehicle replacement cost in our insurance, so some appropriation would have to be made to purchase a vehicle for you, correct?
Yes, sir. Collision was not with other parties, just want to make that clear.
Okay.
Collision
Yes.
was with,
A fixed object.
scenery and shrubbery and,
Correct.
non.
Yeah, and there was no injuries in it, right?
Correct.
Okay. That's
Except to the
always,
vehicle.
always good, we can replace vehicles whether we like it or not. But
Don't like to do
Not
that,
people.
but just wanted to make it known we didn't hit anybody else or.
Do you have the total what they're gonna give you for the wrecked vehicle yet?
Yes, sir. So, it seems, I'm kind of locked into this at the moment. It seems that, after evaluation of the equipment that was on, the vehicle, what was broken on the vehicle, what can't transfer over to a new vehicle, the total is gonna be $27,884.52.
Is that after the deductible?
No, ma'am.
So you're gonna have 5,000 off the deductible.
So
now, you'll be
settlement
20.
total, receivable settlement total will be $22,884.52.
And that'll go back into 1151, correct?
That vehicle was, so I don't know actually, now that I think about, that vehicle was the old health department vehicle. That we
Which-
traded them for,
Yes.
was the Colorado.
Okay.
So there's been a moving of how, I don't know if they initially bought the vehicle or, cause I know a while back we had back in the day, we had some Durangos that we ended up kicking over to the health department.
Right.
I don't know if that's one of them, or do you have any idea?
We bought that one,
They bought that one,
right
so,
before the HIV outbreak.
Okay,
so that is one thing that I remembered this morning when I was going through all of this, that, we didn't, that was one that we swapped.
do we need to make a note to the treasurer's office, cause she would receive the money back in, right, and just see if she could tell us where it went, so we could
We'll find out.
reappropriate it from there if we can, or see what we can do. And just to be clear for everybody watching, the vehicle in question was a 2014 Dodge Durango, correct?
Correct.
Okay, alright, so then,
The unfortunate part is it had like 30,000 miles on it,
yeah, that's nice,
but it was still a 10-year-old vehicle.
so what, what are you needing it from us as far as your vehicle purchase?
So I put on the advertisement, I believe it was 55 for a vehicle, 15 for the upfit, equipment, radios and all of that.
Okay.
Shooting high on both of those, just so I didn't have to
Right,
come back.
come back or run short.
I've got now 2 quotes for vehicles, and the, lighting I won't know until, like, I'm not gonna have a fitter spec me out a vehicle, not knowing that takes a
What
lot
it
of time.
is exactly.
I know what I paid for mine, and if I mimic that, the 15 will be plenty.
Okay. Do you have a copy of the appropriation sheet? You want me to just read down it like I normally do? So on this today, almost said tonight, is ordinance 2024-49, and it is a ordinance for an additional appropriation out of the 1151 EMS funds for a total of $70,000. Like Nick explained, it's 55,000 in capital outlays, 15,000 in other services and charges, which would cover a total amount of a up-build turnkey, ready-to-go vehicle for him to get his personnel back into for responding. I would entertain a motion to accept the ordinance 2024-49.
I'll make that motion.
John Miller's made a motion to accept the ordinance 2024-49. John Collins with a second. Is there any questions or comments from council?
Is there any way we can fund that vehicle through lit public safety?
Yeah, there's a way.
That's what I would like to see done, especially in light of, it's looking like that money might go back to the health department, is that right? Because they bought the vehicle.
It's-
I don't know, because I don't know what fund it was bought out of. I know that since the commissioners own all of the vehicles, so I don't know if they initially go to the commissioner fund and then it gets appropriated back to the respective department. I'm not sure of that
That's
process.
$26,000 difference.
Cause where the commissioners own all the vehicles, you know, did you pay it for a health department in general, or do you know?
We bought it through grant, so
Oh, so then it should be going back to wherever at that point, since I'm sure the grant's
yes,
beyond its threshold.
yes, exactly.
Yeah, so I believe then at that point, we should be able to put it in our account since we were in possession of it. I would assume.
So I guess you'd have a couple of options. One would be, obviously the way it's advertised today, it would have to come out of 1151. You could re-advertise for August for the full amount if you so choose, and then figure out insurance. You could, advertise for August to pay the difference between what insurance is gonna reimburse the county and like the money we're out to
Well,
get a new vehicle.
If the money comes back to EMS from the insurance company, could we just pay the difference in the price of that vehicle out of lit public safety?
We could, to get him moving today, I think we would have to approve what we have in front of us just for advertising.
Yeah.
But if we wanted to reimburse those funds, we could ask the auditor to advertise for that for August, if that's what everybody wanted to do. But ultimately, to get him what he needs today, we would have to approve the ordinance
Yeah,
that's in front
well,
of us.
I'm like John, I think it'd be different, it'd be good if we could take it out of the list, to pick the difference, so it's not coming out of your account, so.
that would be neat,
Yeah.
but
If we
You're
could do that.
looking at about $26,000 difference
$26,000
is what it would be from what insurance would pay versus what a new
Well,
vehicle costs.
And by next month, at the meeting, we would
should,
know
yeah.
where that money went back.
Even if it's gotta go through September, it'd still be
Yeah,
better.
I replied back to, the insurance company yesterday, gave them the location of the vehicle, I have the title of the vehicle in hand, I've done all the I'm just waiting on them to pick it up.
Well,
And after they
that's
pick,
what,
after they pick it up, I believe we should get a check within a week or two from them, I would assume.
can you get that advertised for next month so we can look at that?
So are you good with moving forward on today?
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Okay, alright,
Yeah, we gotta get him.
We've
in.
we've already got the motions on the floor, so.
so we've got a motion and a second, any other questions, comments from council members? All in favor? Any opposed? 6-0 on that.
Thank you.
Now, the purchase stuff is, we're gonna go through John Jones, or we're gonna go through the,
You'll have to run, do you have to run those by the commissioners, or they've already approved buying it?
They wanted updated quotes,
Okay.
so I go back Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Wednesday, and then they can make the final decision, and I'm sure it'll be a low bid option, which it should be, if we're buying.
That's typically what I've, unless it's some type of specialized equipment, usually the lowest bid's what I try to go with, just cause I usually have to pay for it out of my account. As of right now, I will be. If you guys still move to pay for it out of lit, I would accept that gift, but if not, I'm fully prepared to pay for our mistakes, so.
Just to keep everybody updated, I did get a text from the judge, he's in a hearing, and said he could come down in a few minutes, so I told him, that's fine, we'll just push it back for a little bit.
Anything else for me?
I don't think so, I appreciate it.
Appreciate you guys.
Yep.
thank you, Nick.
Thank you.
You got that other proposal from John?
Yeah, I got it right here.
I think it came in that right
You
there.
want this?
Sure. Thank you.
Ms. Bruton, you're up for the health department. We need another Durango.
This-
Yeah, actually, I do. That's a.
Got one, needs fixed up.
Had a little Bondo in it, you'd be all right.
I'm gonna take that one back, no offense.
Gently used. How are you?
I'm good, how are you guys?
Not bad, not bad.
Okay,
Sorry.
I'm
I'm
here
always good to
for
back
an
that
additional
remark.
appropriation of $7,000. The problem is our liability insurance, like everybody knows, the beginning of the year, went up. Ours went up $8,650 more than it had ever been. It had been around 10 and now it was 18,650, yes. So in order to pay for that, we had to take money out of utilities to pay for that at the first of the year, and now we're running out of utilities. The other problem we have is that we took a lot of the 1159 and put it in Health First to kind of offset the 1159, but now I don't have a lot of money to move around. So we did move $1,300 from workman's comp to utilities to kind of cover that, but I'm gonna need more to make it through the rest of the year.
So, I've got her budget that was approved through Gateway up on the screen, if anybody would like to see it. I think we're talking about the liabilities, workman's comp, and about the middle of your screen. Looks like $10,000 was initially appropriated, and she's saying that it's gonna be about 7,000 more to make that connection, right? So. I guess my only question, Jennifer, is, or one of my questions, this is gonna come out of the health department fund or general? Cause I thought it was advertised as general.
We advertised it as general.
Okay. The fund on here says 1,000, which is health department.
Well, the general fund for the county is 1,000.
It's just 1,000, right. But is all of hers out of that also, or is that gonna be a different fund that we need to create a line in general to send to health? Cause yours is grant stuff mostly, right?
Not the 1159.
Not that one,
Not
okay,
this one.
alright. I know there was a bunch of moving parts, so
There's a
I'm
bunch.
just trying to keep
Yes. I-
straight on that. So, with her request is on ordinance 2024-50, and it is a additional appropriation request for the health department in the amount of $7,000 to cover some shortfalls in budget items that we didn't know were gonna increase so drastically. I think it's a common theme across several departments that we've ran into this year. So, I would entertain a motion to accept ordinance 2024-50. Johnny White makes a motion to accept the additional appropriation,
So,
and Lindy Eubanks with a second. Any questions or comments from council members? No. All in favor of the 7,000? Any opposed? 6-0, sorry about that. Everything else going good at the health department?
Going great. We finally got our new environmentalist started Tuesday, and she's gonna be amazing, I think. She's already picking up quick, and our public health nurse quick, so.
Oh, nice.
I'm fully staffed for 4 days.
Gain one, lose one.
I know, that's right.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
You're up, Jeremy. How are you this morning?
Oh, pretty good, pretty good. I was up at dispatch till a little after midnight last night.
Nice.
Our air conditioner in the radio room was low on Freon, so,
Isn't that fairly new?
no.
That
That
one's
one's
that
old.
we keep battling?
Yes, and I actually spoke to the commissioners last night while I was there. They told me to get a quote and bring it Wednesday and they'll replace
Be
it.
nice if we had somebody with new in heating and air.
I'd replace the other one in there. Just call Henry if you wanna go,
Gotcha.
but I don't wanna be a part of
Johnny,
it.
Understand completely.
you were good, right?
Yes.
On this
Yeah, I
one?
understand that completely.
Is there a
I'll be glad to
mini
give you a
split?
price.
It's a mini split, yeah. Actually, we've got a mini split that draws from, it's on the roof where the cooling unit is, outside unit is. And then there is a window unit that sucks air from the garage that also blows in there.
That room ain't that big.
Cause we put,
Think
we
it
put
would
a
be a
new
freezer.
system for the server room.
Yeah.
Beginning of this year.
Yeah, and then anytime it gets above 80 degrees, an alarm goes off in the dispatchers on their computer. And we've got to get somebody in there because it can fry the controllers
Yeah,
that the radios and the computers talk through.
alrighty. What else can we do for you?
Well, I am here today to ask you, as you can see, EMA is not very well funded. I also came in and we had nothing. We had a Mavic 2 drone and that was it. Literally didn't have a flashlight. We had a couple of radios. But I have no supplies to help anybody out, nothing. I also have an EOC in the basement that the technology is all outdated. Printers, I used my $300 in office supplies there to buy ink for my printers down there, just to see if they'd work. Because one is a big $5,000 plotter, so it's like, well, let's see if it works. I can use it, there's plenty of things I could use this for. Bought the ink, my plotter, my printers don't even work. So I literally have like no technology down there. If something were to happen, we're not equipped in the EOC to handle really anything. I've got phone lines down there that work, and that's about it. So I'm asking, I get a almost annual grant for my salary. It's around $26,296 for part of my salary. And you guys go ahead and fund my full salary because we never know if we're actually going to get it until halfway through the next year. So I'm asking for you guys to move $4,000 of that into a uniform line item so that Joe and I can be safe when we're out there working in the streets. As Mr. White can attest, some of that safety clothing is very, very, very expensive, even for the cheapest stuff you can buy. A little jersey jacket that's bright yellow with some minimum reflective striping's about $100 to $150. So, you know, if we're out there in the cold working on the roadway, I bought us some safety lights that clip on our shoulders or on our, I'm sure you've seen them, the Guardian tracking lights. I got us a couple of those, but I don't think that's still enough for us to be out working in the roadway, or if we're on a fire scene helping out. It's not enough to really show where we're at and what we're doing. So I'd rather us be safe. So I'm asking for you to move 4,000 of that into a uniform line and create that uniform line. And I can move some of that around into like my office supplies and things like that, if I need to, get some of those. And then I'm asking for the rest to go to supplies, our equipment line, create an equipment line in that, budget. And, that way I can try to get some road cones, some street signs that say accident ahead or emergency scene ahead, slow down. And make those collapsible signs that we can just keep in the back of our car, pull out, lay out. And then, try to do a little bit of, I know that it's up in the air whether my EOC is gonna stay here in the basement or move over to 911 or move to City Hall or wherever. But I can at least get some little things that can make us operational if we were to have some sort of catastrophe. Like a TV wall, instead of, if I got 3 projectors down there, 2 of them don't work. One of them's on a wall that doesn't make sense, the one that works. They're also almost 20 years old, which is well past their prime. I can get a TV wall just like that, be 4 TVs side by side. We can put different things on each screen, we can put the same things on each screen. You know, I can do that for a couple of $1,000s versus buying a new projector, because these projectors don't even have HDMI inputs, don't have wireless inputs. They're the old VGA monitors that we're using adapters, and the adapters break, and
So I guess.
so just asking to get a little bit of stuff to help get us going, and then with the grants that I'm getting, I should be, if I can keep that up. I've gotten a little over $30,000 in grants so far this year. I'm batting 1,000 right now where we're at.
I guess my first question is, do we need to accept the grant that he has in the salary line item?
That's already been done.
So it's already,
Mhm.
okay,
Yeah.
alright, how did that get done?
That was part of last year's budget.
Whenever it went in?
Mhm.
Okay, when did you actually get this grant? Like,
I don't know, they had it when I got here in February. We applied for it in,
okay.
we
alright.
applied for it
Was
in September or October.
I was
so, like,
thinking it was
it's-
something that just came, sorry.
Yeah, no, you're fine.
Alright, so we've got it in there, which means you've got an excess amount in the director salaries and wages line that you're wanting to move around, and then create a couple of line items, to have some funds in them. So I guess, what do you do for equipment now, anything, or?
No,
Cause
there's,
I seen a bill come through here recently for some steel chainsaws.
I bought some chainsaws when we had that. It was $500 for 2 chainsaws. They got me a heck of a deal on
How
them.
do we pay for them?
I used, exercise, because I can do an exercise with them and, go over training and because we're not
Okay,
trained
I got
on
you.
using them, so I can use it for the training and exercise. And then, that's the way a lot of the state grants work on the training grants. They're like, don't mention using it after the training, but
Right.
you train with them, you buy it to train with them, and then they're yours to use afterwards.
Gotcha.
So,
So I guess for me, I'm in support of creating the uniform line, creating the equipment line. I feel like $26,000 is a large number to just throw in there without any real like plan of what we're gonna do with it. So I would like to see maybe like, and if you had uniform request, $4,000 seems like a lot of money for 2 people, one to be a part-time position. But I do understand that you need some items, so
yeah.
for my personal opinion, I think I would like to see more of a plan of what we're gonna do with this money before we put it in there, since that would initially be freeing up general funds that could be used for anywhere in the
Yeah,
county.
they actually could, they would revert back if we didn't
And
do
they,
this.
yeah, so they
at the
would
end
go
of the year,
into,
so.
which could be used for courts, for wherever. So I think personally, my opinion, I would like to see a more detailed plan of
Oh, I
what
can
you would
get
like
you
to
an
buy
itemized list
or uniform
Because,
wise.
yeah.
But that's my take. Does anybody else have any other questions or comments?
Why don't we leave that money where it's at, for now? Let's create a line item for say $1,000, then like in jackets, you talking
Yeah.
about stuff, it can get that stuff ordered until he can come up with a plan for the
Yep.
rest of it.
Yeah.
But go ahead and create the line items, can we do that, Jennifer? Where, when?
Actually, your ordinance shows your line items.
Yes, they're on.
Okay.
And it's a
Yeah,
transfer
I think,
fund.
I
so you
think if we
can-
create the line items, then that'll put us all the line items for equipment, cause you need a line item for equipment,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And for, so I think if we create the line items now, like Johnny said, maybe put, I don't know what she said, $1,000 or whatever in the equipment, and then
Would-
that way the lines are there for when you bring in a,
Would,
Yeah, I could throw
would
together.
$1,000 get you
Yep.
ordered what you need to order now to be safe?
$1,000 would, yeah, I mean, that's, yeah,
And maybe by next meeting or something, you could
Yeah.
have you,
definitely, I can put some stuff together. Like I said, I was just asking for the simplicity of moving the 4,000 into that one line, because, you know, office supplies, you know, I don't have any printer paper down there in the basement, you know. It was just some of the, you know, I can move interline that way, so I was gonna make it easy. I guess I could come up with a more detailed plan on how I would move those things around as well, too.
well, it's just hard to push $26,000.
Oh, no, I completely understand.
And say, good luck.
I completely understand, especially, we've never done this before, you know, it's been a,
So why don't we do
So-
that? Let's get the line items.
We're gonna create the line, so do you want to make a motion to create a line for uniforms and then put how much in that?
Yeah,
For $1,000?
yeah.
yeah, that,
Okay, so I'll entertain a motion from Johnny White to create a line item within the budget for civil defense under general and add $1,000 from the salaries of the director line to that, or transfer to that line item as created. John Collins with a second. Does anybody have any other questions or comments on that one? All in favor? 6-0 on that. And then that would leave the equipment line. Do you wanna do a similar thing with that, so that we have the line?
I'd like to make a motion to create the line item.
Okay. Do we wanna put, need to have immediate needs right now?
I have
for that?
no immediate, nothing, you know,
Put
unless,
1,000 in it,
But-
just
as
say,
you say, we can create the line and I can come up with that plan and show you guys what I'm looking at, so I mean, there's no need. Unless-
There's money in there to be easier.
So
to
unless we
add
were to
on
have an
it.
emergency, which they're gonna, if the commissioners declare an emergency, then,
Yeah,
it's kind of a different breed in and of itself, but.
Let's do $1,000 and
Okay.
get it.
so we'll do a similar motion to create a line item within civil defense for equipment and move $1,000 to be transferred from the director's salary line into the equipment line. Any question, or Jonathan White has a motion on
One thing you
that.
might not be aware of is with the transfer, if there were an emergency and something had to come up quickly, those don't have to be advertised.
Right,
So
yeah,
it's not
Yeah.
like you have to wait.
okay. Need a second. John Collins with a second. Any questions or comments on this? All in favor? 6-0 on that. That'll get you.
Yeah, well, if you need a
Oh,
chainsaw,
you got something in money.
Yeah, cause like when I bought those chainsaws, that was, the Tuesday we had the real windstorm, I was out till 10 o'clock using those chainsaws. Or, well, sorry, about 9:30, we, ended up training.
Yes, training with those
Okay, use that
chainsaws.
word training.
Yes.
But now you have an equipment line, and so therefore if you buy some equipment, we have a justification for that. So,
So, yeah, but.
alrighty, anything else we can do for you?
That is it, I appreciate it, guys.
Yep, no problem.
And,
Jeremy.
next meeting, I'll, come with some of that stuff.
Okay.
I should probably email you guys
Sounds
in
good.
between.
I appreciate it.
Thank you all.
Yep.
Judge Mount, thanks for coming down, sir.
Thanks, and thanks for trying to move me up. I was double booked this morning. I had a special judge matter out of Floyd County that, these chairs.
Good luck.
Yeah, that I had to take care of. You know, I'm requesting an additional appropriation under mental health evaluations, just to kind of set the table. This is something we did talk about at the budget meeting. We did ask for $12,000 originally. That was kind of what I expected I would need, and actually I got some bad news that since we have filed this reappropriation, I now have another $4,500 worth of claims. The situation is that when a defendant legitimately, and we don't do these willy-nilly, and we kind of call a spade, we can kind of tell when these are going to be issues. But when a defendant has mental health issues that render them not able to assist their public defender, in other words, they are totally psychotic and can't communicate legitimately, or if they have a not guilty by reason of insanity claim, again, we vet those, or if they have a guilty but mentally ill claim, obviously we have to get an expert involved to get an opinion. We have to get 2 of those, and we used to be able to get 2 of those for each defendant. We used to be able to get those from LifeSpring, and LifeSpring was doing them for $350 each. LifeSpring used to. LifeSpring is no longer doing them. That's been the case for over a year now. It's a problem for us. It's a problem for Clark. It's a problem for Floyd. As a district, that's our district. As a district, all of the judges from all of those counties have met on this several times, and we've met with LifeSpring several times. We've asked them triple what you were charging us before and give us these services, and they still don't want to do it. So we have to contract with individual doctors, and so now each of these evaluations is costing us from $1,500 to $3,000 each. And we don't know how many we're going to need or when we're going to need them. My estimate was 12,000. This will put us at the 12,000 I estimated, but again, I'll probably be back. I'm going to be back here soon for another, probably another 6 at least, because that's just the way it goes. So I will say, I do think going forward, there will be some legislative changes that are going to give us a little bit of relief. We're going to continue to work on LifeSpring. I would be thrilled to we got a great service out of LifeSpring. It was quick, it was cheap. They would come to the jail, and now I'm contracting with doctors out of Bloomington, and we've got to transport people, and so the expenses have gone way up.
Is it a contract thing, or they just, like?
It's a kind of case by case, we contract case by case.
No, I'm saying for LifeSpring, why they decided not to do it, is it a contract thing, or they just wanted to get out of it?
Ask me off the record, and I'll
Gotcha.
tell you what I think happened with
Okay.
LifeSpring.
Training.
Yes. I think some
Sorry.
bridges were burned with LifeSpring from other counties in our district. And so they've thrown their hands up. But at any rate, I'd love to, if anybody has an in with LifeSpring, to say, hey, it would be helpful if you guys would get back in the business of competency evaluations. That's the biggest part of this, is competency evaluations. And at any rate, legislative changes on the way. They did just July 1st, they did change the law to where in minor offenses, we only need 1 of these now. We don't need 2. But if anybody is charged with a higher offense, I have to get 2. I've tried to sneak it up to the DMHA with none, and they send it back. I've tried to sneak it up with 1, and they send it back. I always say that the Department of Mental Health, the BMV, and the DOC orders are optional when you send them orders, because they don't follow them. But what just so you know from context, yes, we do have a county expense on this, but there is also some state relief here too, because if we arrest JR, he's psychotic and can't communicate, he's hearing voices in his head, and this, we have this.
That's just next to one.
Yeah. Can't assist his attorney. We get 2 evaluations. It costs us between $4,000 and $6,000, and if the evaluations all say he's psychotic, then we send him to the Division of Mental Health in a secure facility, and we don't pay for any of that. And they stay up there for 2, 3, 6 months, and they are recompensated. You'd actually be amazed how many times people will have contact with at the jail that you think there's no way. And they go up, and 90 days later, they're as straight as a board. So it does work, but there are some local expenses. Then we shift those expenses to the county. But that's why this line item has kind of been blown out. And will continue to be blown out until we get somewhere. But like I said, I originally asked for 12. I thought I'd need 12. I've gotten halfway through the year, we're at 12. So that's where we're at.
I appreciate you taking the time to come down to explain it.
Yeah.
It clears up a lot of the questions I think I had and maybe others had. So before us is ordinance 2024-40. It was originally heard the other night. We pushed it back to allow some time for some questions to be cleared up. It is out of the general fund, an additional appropriation for $6,000 into the circuit court line items, which are on the board if anybody would like to see, to cover mental health evaluations. I would entertain a motion to accept this ordinance.
I'll second.
Johnny White with a motion to accept the ordinance. Linda Eubanks with a second. Are there any questions or comments from council on this? All in favor?
Thank you, guys.
Any opposed? 6-0.
I appreciate that, and like I said, we're already 4,500 in the red again, so I will probably ask to reappropriate if you need.
Well, you don't have to be
Yeah.
here this time, we don't.
Just- yeah,
That's,
just
that's great. I will, but I will say, I've been at this for a long time, and, as I was sitting over here, I was looking at my budget, and as Jennifer said, well, you can move things. We're pretty close to halfway through everything on my line item, so I think I'm
a good place to
doing
be.
pretty good. at-
You wanna go ahead and advertise for?
Yeah, go ahead and advertise for another 6.
6,000.
And
Yeah,
then you won't have to be
All
here.
right, thank you guys, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry to make you wait.
No problem.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That wraps up everything on the agenda. Is there any other business anybody has or needs to talk about? If not, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Can I ask a question?
Absolutely.
The money we give Live Springs, what was that for? Do you remember?
I remember doing it, but I
Yeah,
couldn't
because it's
answer
for anything for
exactly. But
Yeah.
it would definitely be something we would
Definitely
look
gonna have to
into.
look into before we give them.
I know it's a state mandate, I think we
It's a
have to
state,
do it.
yeah.
I just
But I'm
asked-
not
I don't
sure
think
what it
it's, I
covers.
don't
Yeah.
think it's for
I thought
court
some of theirs is
services.
for services in the jail,
For the jail.
Jail.
is what I'm thinking.
Yeah. it's
Because
for
I think they send
services.
someone
Yeah.
to the jail to help with mental health issues.
I just knew we wrote
within
him a
there.
check, so I just,
Yeah,
and he said that, I was like,
Yeah.
well,
but we can check into it
yeah, definitely, yeah.
and get some answers to that, and then, we'll maybe reach out to Life Spring, see if they would offer any further help.
I've got a decent contact there if you want.
Sure. Any other questions or comments? If not, I entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
John Miller made a motion to adjourn, John White with the second, all in favor? 6-0, adjourned.
Let's go.
Thank you.